Hi, it's John Kelly. In this module, we are going to discuss other changes to auditing standards made in 2016. And as always, we want to be efficient and effective, follow professional standards, and document what we have done properly. Now, there are a number of 2016 ISA amendments, and these flow from the audit reporting changes, sections 700, 701, and so on, and from the project on audit of disclosures, though there isn't a section in professional standards called audit of disclosures. Rather, what they have done is in virtually every section where disclosures could be a subject, they've inserted wording to talk about how one would audit the disclosures. Now, this is effective for year ends ending after December the 15, 2016. But this is going to vary by country, so you need to check for the country you're in when it's effective. In Canada, for instance, it's effective for year ends ending after December the 15th, 2018, though you can adopt early. And the changes affect about 20 other sections in professional standards. Now, the impact on your audit depends if you had always thought that you had to audit disclosure, which I would suggest most auditors probably knew they should be auditing disclosure, but it's just now much clearer. So what they have done is throughout there is a mention of disclosure in every section. The other thing, of course, that happens because of the changes to 700, every example report in professional standards changes, which means that once these are implemented in your country, every audit report you issue will change, and that'll be a bunch of work. There are also some checklist and engagement letter changes implicit in these changes, so you need to consider those as well. So going through section by section, section 200, audit objectives just moves to incorporate disclosure as an objective of the audit. 210, the engagement letter, notes that management must agree to provide all information needed, including disclosure. So you may need to change your engagement letter, or your engagement letter may already have been general enough. Another change is to note that you may have to include a key audit matter in the report. Section 220 on quality control, you would include key audit matters in audit reports in the quality control monitoring process. 230 documentation, there is a requirement in the key audit matters section that you would document why there are no key audit matters. That's repeated in the documentation section. Fraud, thought that maybe you might include the risk of fraud in disclosure in your discussions. Maybe you need to change the checklist, or maybe your checklist prompts were broad enough to just include the risk of fraud generally. 300 planning emphasizes disclosure. 315 identifying risk of material misstatement, two changes. One is it emphasizes disclosure in 2 paragraphs, and maybe you need to change your checklist. And the assertion definitions have been revised to include disclosure in each assertion, and the disclosure assertions which were separate have all been deleted. 320 on materiality, edits to include disclosure, and for instance, they have included some examples of how you might materially misstate financial statements through disclosure, something to be avoided. 330, response to the risk of material misstatement includes disclosure. Evaluation of misstatements, there's more guidance on misstatements and misstatements from disclosure. Section 500, audit evidence, there was a trivial edit. First time audit report, all the reports, example reports, are redone. 540, accounting estimates, some edits, read the new audit reporting sections. Subsequent events, some edits, re section 720, annual reports. The representation letter notes that 720 may require representations, and so presumably those changes would be made pursuant to section 720. Group audits, of course, new sample reports. Comparative and corresponding figures, notes that the inability to get evidence about the opening balance sheet might be a key audit matter, or a modification, and of course new sample reports. And 800, 805, and 810, special purpose statements, audit of a single statement, summary financial statements, edits, and new reports. So, thanks for listening.